Hey, it's Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today for a Scrappy YouTubers Pinkfresh Friday hop. So a bunch of my YouTube friends are hopping and sharing with you layouts created using Pinkfresh Studio collections. So that is the layout that I am sharing with you today. There is quite a bit of Suzanna shuffle that is going to go on in this layout. This is a photoless layout. So what it is I have printed on an 8.5 by 11 letter size piece of paper a an article. And so this article is about life as an empty nester. So irrelevant to me right now, but one of my dear Scrappy friends shared this with me online, and it is something that I want to hold on to for when I actually am an empty nester, just some words of wisdom. And so I copied it into Word and I printed it double-sided, and I toyed long and hard with using it in an envelope versus what I am going to do here. This should be super simple because it is really a very simple technique, but because it's the first time that I've done it, I am struggling with how exactly to make the concept in my brain execute to the paper here. I have a sheet of vellum that I want to put over it so that I can still put some more embellishment on it. And because it is double-sided, I need to be able to flip that page. So what I've done is you can see I've used some green cardstock, just plain old cardstock on the left-hand side with a notebook page. And I like the way that that works with the office theme of the layout. And then I want to use the vellum to just indicate that there is something underneath, but not necessarily the viewer be able to read it. You have to interact with the layout. So yes, you are going to have to take it out of the page protector. When I do these interactive elements, everybody always asks me, how are you going to put it in the album? I'm literally going to slide it down in the page protector, and yes, you are going to have to pull it out. And largely because this is such a large interactive element. And so what I'm struggling with here is this ends up being, you open the vellum from the left-hand side, but then the actual article itself, you're going to flip to the right-hand side. So it's a bifold without being a bifold, if that makes any sense. And getting the alignment of all of those elements, again, like I said previously, it's super simple, but I was having a hard time making that work in my brain. So you can see how I now have the main elements there. It's just a matter of figuring out what is going to flip and where it is going to flip. And so you will have, if you decide you're going to copy this idea, you will now know what to do, because I have done all of the struggle for you, in that I literally have a 1/4 inch tape. This is thermo web tape that's on the right hand side of this article, so you can see that I'm going to do that there. So I'm working on a new surface. This is from Tuesday morning. It's a We Are Memory Keepers. I forget what it's called exactly, and I've got it covered up right now, but basically you can write notes, and it's a grid pad. And then you can tear that sheet off when you are done, which I think is super cool. And then that way, as I get missed, and I've stamped on these, which is super cool, instead of using scratch paper, so it kind of becomes my scratch paper as well as my work surface. So now I've got that right-hand side flip there. There you go. And so I have a lot of space behind it to write. I have my plan is that I can put maybe pictures in when this becomes relevant, but currently I'm going to use my journaling as to why I am scrapbooking this on the cover, and I will get to that later on. So then the washi here, it's actually, this is not washi, the double-sided tape here is going on the left-hand side, and the reason for that being because that will be the left flip fold, and then the article is the right flip. And so that way you have ability to read both sides of the article, as well as me being able to cover that up, because an 8.5 by 11, as you can see, on top of a 12 by 12 doesn't give you much room for embellishment. And I did want to journal as to, and visibly journal as to why that is there. If the kids were to go through the album tomorrow and just see this random article, it wouldn't be clear as to why I was doing it, why I was memory keeping that now. And by having the journaling, I am able to share why this is important to me. What I struggled with here, and you can see I keep trying to fold it, is the cardstock. That green cardstock that I'm using is very, very thick. And then you have the cardstock of Pinkfresh as well. And so those double layers are super, super thick. And I wanted you to be able to fold it without being able to flip it and flip the whole page with it as well. Because of the thickness of this cardstock, I am going to use a thicker double-sided tape. Again, this is ThermoWeb Gina K. I love that this is, you can tear the tape, and so I don't have to get my scissors out every time I want to stick something down, and I love that it's a super strong bond as well. So there is the flip fold that works. Took a while, but I got it. And so now I can go ahead and embellish that. And I'm going to fussy cut a piece of that notebook paper there so that I have something to write on. I have this collection, so it's called Take Note from Pinkfresh Studio. I got quite some time ago in a scrap room kit, and then I had also ordered a few of the embellishments on my own, and so I have a fair amount to choose from, and I have not used it. I actually honestly have saved this because I wanted to do a work from home layout with this. I just haven't gotten to it yet. It may be my W for my Boys to Men series. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. But I am doing a series called Scrapbooking Boys to Men from A to Z. And so my friends and I are working our way through the alphabet, using each letter of the alphabet as our next letter of inspiration as to the topic that we are going to choose to scrapbook. And so my next letter is the letter U, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do for U, but I was thinking that I would do for W, I would do work from home and use this collection as well. So one of the things that I've cut off here is you can see where they've used washi to attach it to their fake paper. And so I wanted to get some actual washi to cover that up because I cut off that extra top part there. And so I do have some here. I believe this is from Simple Stories. I'm not entirely sure. It is not Pinkfresh though. It does not correspond with the collection. But it ends up being too light, and so I'm going to find something darker that is actually from, it definitely is from Simple Stories, and something else that I got from Tuesday Morning as well. So when you flip this to the left, so this vellum flip, we'll call it, you are going to see the other side of the pattern, and I wasn't worried about that because it isn't the most visual thing that you see, and honestly, when you flip the page, what you're really flipping the page for is to be able to read that article, and so you really don't pay attention to the fact that that hasn't been covered up. I'm not bothered by it. I do want something to give you the idea that you need to flip it on the left hand, on the right hand side. I also need some color on the right hand side to balance out with all of that color and busyness that's on the left hand side. So you can see I have that flip tab that says remember, and because I have that dark blue in the tape, I want to put something dark blue opposing up there just for some balance and symmetry in the layout, and that is going to be served by having that label there. So I'm going to put the flip tab over the label, and then I believe I do it off camera. I found some of my Pinkfresh Studio puffy hearts, and I'm going to use one of those up there as well, just for a little bit of added oomph to that. So in many ways, it's a very simple layout, but I liked the idea of scrapbooking. This was important to me, and I think it will be important to me 3 years from now when Mia leaves home, as a reminder and some encouragement that being a quote unquote empty nester is just your next phase in life, and some helpful, useful perspective on that. I think empty nester has a negative connotation. Well, maybe not a negative connotation, but there are certain ideas that we have in our brain as to what that means. And I like the way that this article makes it a positive thing instead of a negative thing, and gives purpose to that next chapter in your life. So I want to put just a splash more color up on that top right, and I'm struggling with how to do that. I also want to put a title on this that just says take note, and I love that these Amy Tangerine, so not Pink Fresh, but I didn't have Pink Fresh letters, but I love that how these Amy Tangerine letters are kind of opaque like the vellum is, so you can see the title, especially when it's against the white background of the article, but then takes on a different perspective when you flip the page, similar to the article. So take is 4 letters and note is also 4 letters, and so what I struggle with here is whether I'm going to put each letter directly underneath or whether I'm going to space that out a little bit, and so that is my dilemma here, and honestly it's not a big dilemma, but something to consider when you are putting your title work is the alignment of your letters. I end up going with directly underneath, partly because I have 2 E's, and if you offset the E's, it provides a funny design principle. It looks funny from a design perspective. So again, something to consider when you are laying down your alphas or your titles. So this is a hop. There are several of us that are participating today. You do not have to do it in any particular order, but I do have the list of participants down below, so be sure to check out everything else that all of the other designers have created using Pinkfresh Studio today. If you are new, having come from somebody else's YouTube channel, welcome. I look forward to seeing more of you. Thank you for stopping in today, and I hope you are doing well. Come back again soon. Take care.